I hope everybody's having a phenomenal day. Jim Klauck here on the Phenomenal Business Growth Podcast. And I've got another guest, another inner circle member here at Phenomenal. It's Rob Kurtz. Rob, how are you doing?
Good, Jim. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to have you here, buddy. So I want to learn all about you and your business, Solid Rock Landscaping. I understand, and I can't believe this because you don't look that old, but you've been doing this type of work for 40 plus years.
I have. I started when I was in my first year of teenage years of 13, working for my brother's company. I worked obviously through my school years. I went to trade school for 2 years. Took, interestingly enough, construction carpentry, where I learned a lot of my masonry skills. Then I went to work for my brother's business until 2007, when we started Solid Rock Landscaping. My wife and I had, at the time, we have 4 young children, and I always wanted to have my own business. And I always wanted to be able to go to their sporting events or my daughter's dance events. So it just felt like the right time, and praise God, we started right before the recession in 2008, but we were able to maintain things and um, manage that. And today we're 16 years in, so really
Yeah,
thankful for that.
congratulations. You know, a lot of us as business owners, before we became business owners, had a great idea. Let's quit our job and start a business so we have more free time. And that's a lie, right?
It is
That's
a
a
lie.
lie. And so when I told my wife back in 2003, understand now, here's my wife. She's pregnant and she's holding my 2-year-old son, and I come home with a perfectly good job and say I want to quit to become an entrepreneur. And she said yes, so she's cool. But she said, you know, the most difficult boss you're going to have is you, because I had never owned a business, but she had. And I just wanted to do something different. So when you say you want to spend more time with the family and go to, like, you know, little league and soccer and all that stuff, is kind of interesting, because a lot of people find that they become a slave to their business, as Howard says a lot. But what's, really nice about having processes in place and great coaching through Phenomenal is that we learn how to take some of these things off of our plate and really enjoy our lives. But it's a real shame when we see business owners, when I see business owners, and they're doing fine, they're making a good living, but they don't have any time. And I'm glad you found that.
I did. I'm really thankful. My father was a good example. I mean, he was a hard worker, but he always took time for his children. And thankfully, I was able to separate work and family during those times. However, I would often come home after the games or after the kids went to bed and go back down the office for a few hours. And so a lot of my waking moments, away, I always took time for family. It was key to me. But like you said, that I filled in the other times with work. So
Well, and Rob, it's so important that you put your family first. People ask about me. I'll meet them at a block party or a barbecue, and they'll say, "Tell me about yourself, Jim." And the first thing I say is, "I'm a husband. Robin is my wife of 25 years, and I have two beautiful children, Jimmy and Ashley." And then I go into what I do for a living. And I think that's the responsible thing to do, because I committed to my wife and my children before I even thought about the business idea. And so what happens is a lot of families break up because someone in the families decided to just work because that's what their identity is, and they leave their family aside, and that's just a shame. I'm sure you've seen that before.
I have, and I really wanted to avoid that. My wife, Mary, she's been wonderful. She's a wonderful wife, mother of our 4 children. Robert is our oldest. Jeb is our second son. Daniel, our third son, and Marielle is our daughter. So she's been very supportive, and she's in the business now, working in the office. Um, and yeah, I thank God for, exactly like you said, for my family first, and for the ability to do the work and also the support I've had in doing that.
God, family, work, right? It's so important to have the priorities in our lives. And I want to say that I I know you're doing the right thing, and I say that with confidence because I've been around long enough, and I've made some mistakes in my life, and having priorities are so critical. I have to make a comment about your website because I went to it. It is first class.
Thank
Okay.
you.
It is professional. The work you do is it's art, and it's not that easy. Plus it's hard work because it's heavy. So landscaping's one thing, but you're in the hardscape business. So, could you explain to the viewers a little bit about what hardscape is and what you do?
Yes. It's funny when I first started, everybody, I would say I'm a landscaper, and everybody say, well, okay, you cut grass. Well, we do, but it's a very, very, very minimal part of our business. We have a couple guys go out 1 day a week to cut grass. The rest of the time is spent, as you said, in landscaping and hardscaping. I would say we're probably, I want to say 70% hardscapes.
Mm.
That includes patio construction, retaining wall building, walkways. We do water features. We do masonry work. We do stone masonry work. We work with stone a lot. Today we were building a boulder wall with large boulders, at a home. And then I like to, it's funny, it's gone full circle. I actually had someone say to me, well, do you know a good landscaper? And I just kind of looked at her like she was joking. I said, yeah. And I said, well, she wanted plantings put in. And I said, well, we do that. And she said, oh, you do? I thought you just did the hardscaping. So it's gone full circle now. Like a lot of people think that we just do hardscapes, but we also do plantings, tree planting, shrubbery planting. I do design. I like to soften my walls and everything
Mm.
with a lot of color and flowers and things that are going to look nice all year round. So the difference is the hardscaping is like the hard, concrete products made. We use Techo block almost exclusively. That's one of the industry leaders in our business. I've developed a good relationship with them, and they make a very, very fine product. So, and then, as I said, I like to use our local nurseries and to get plantings and flowers to go along with that. So that's the softscape or the landscape part of things.
You can add so much to the curb appeal of a home, not to mention the side and backyards as well, with hardscape and landscape. And if it's done right, you can take a plain Jane house or property and really make it nice. And I tell people all the time, you don't have to have an 8,000 square foot house to really have luxury. You could have an 1,800 square foot house, and if it's landscaped well with some great hardscape, and of course, the house itself has to have decent siding and so forth, but you can really, really put lipstick on a pig sometimes and make that property look right. I'm sure you've got
Yes,
before and after pictures, right, of something that looks
yes.
like a plain Jane house. By the time you're done, you're like, whoa, that thing's just gorgeous.
Yes, and that's one of the many reasons why I enjoy my work. Like you said, it is very hard physically to do, but we get a job like that where we see the home and we can envision what it's going to look like, and then we're able to transform everything, and the pleasure that the homeowner takes in seeing their home transformed is also very rewarding. So yes, it definitely can really, really change a home's appearance with landscaping and hardscaping.
What do you find people are wanting to get done in terms of hardscape today? What's really popular? Is a lot of stone? Is it I guess you probably do stamped concrete too, right? I mean, if they wanted it.
That's a bad word in our area,
Oh,
and I'll
is
tell
it?
you why.
Okay.
We're in southeastern Pennsylvania, and southeastern Pennsylvania is one of the worst areas in the country for freeze thaw.
Mm,
And what happens is the clay soils that we have, in a winter's time, we'll have numerous. It'll warm up, and then it'll get bitter cold, but then it'll rain and melt the ground, and then right behind the rain we get a real hard freeze.
and
So
crack.
that creates havoc on the clay soils, and thus it also creates havoc on any kind of concrete that is rigid. It will Any kind of water will that gets under the concrete will heave,
Mm,
and the concrete will crack. Unfortunately, we've had to, unfortunately for our homeowners, we've had to replace a few stamped concrete patios just because of that happening. So what we try to recommend are pavers. When I first started, there was basically 4x8 pavers and a three size paver system, and now today sky's the limit almost. It's really fun to create with. They have different sizes, different textures. Um, and with the pandemic, it was a windfall that no one saw coming, and no one wants to benefit from such a horrific event. But our industry as a whole across the nation, people were just staying at home and creating their backyard space so they could come home from work. They didn't have to travel, and they wanted to just be able to go in their backyard and hear a water fountain, see some flowers. They wanted to be able to sit on their patio. We It gets pretty hot here, so we build pergolas over top the patios, um, outdoor kitchens where they can uh, put a refrigerator, TV. Yes, they can build in their grill. They have a opportunity to do a mini living space, outside their home, and just be able to walk out their door and go into it. So that's been the trend. And also lighting. They like to do landscape lighting in the evenings. It's a beautiful thing, to be able to do, accent lighting. So that's been the trend. People staying at home and just building patios and accents with that.
staycations are big now. They were really big during COVID. Obviously, people weren't allowed to travel. People were also still making money, and they wanted to put money somewhere. They couldn't spend it on vacations. They put it into their home, and the remodeling industry took off. A lot of people remodeled their dining room to make it a home office because they were no longer working from an office anymore. They were working from home. So a lot of people in home improvement really became very busy, and there was a surge, but it was great because people needed to do something at home, and so they decided to upgrade their indoor and outdoor living spaces. And I know you helped them out a lot with that. Let's talk about Inner Circle and Phenomenal Business Coaching. How long have you been part of Phenomenal Business Coaching in terms of being an Inner Circle member?
Well, we just became an Inner Circle member last year. We've been in the Phenomenal Products for almost 3 years now.
Hmm.
It's been a major blessing to our business. Um, Again, when I first started the business, it was just me, myself, and I.
Yeah, yeah.
And praise God, we've been able we have nine plus full-time employees. We have nine full-time employees and summer helpers. And so what it's helped me to do, my son, Robert, my eldest son, is in the business, and he has a business degree from Liberty University, and he has brought in a lot of fresh ideas and excellent ideas. He's brought us into I guess, the 21st century. But along with that, Phenomenal Products has really taken us over the top. We Our coach is Christian, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pun intended, but no pun intended. He has a lot of great ideas, and the whole Partridge family has been just very good for our business, uh,
Yeah,
to
it's a
grow it.
great environment. Not only are the coaches great, but the entire community is fantastic. I've known Howard for 15 plus years, spent a lot of time with Inner Circle members, a lot of time at the conferences, and the community is fantastic. So the coaching's great. the speakers that come in from the outside to talk and teach are fantastic. And the other members in the room are phenomenal, and they're great because we can network with them and they have resources as well, and they're going through the same things we're going through, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We were, my wife and I and daughter were able to go to the Destin retreat a few weeks ago. That was our first conference that we were able to make. Um, and we just had certain things going on in the past. We're looking forward to the next one, but it was really nice getting to meet different people from around the country. Um, Met a carpenter. I met the gentleman who built Howard's house in Destin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just really nice to know that you have that family of networking professionals there. And it's such a family environment. That was key in signing up for that for phenomenal products to begin with.
It truly is a family environment. Howard's the father. There's no question. He's the leader of the pack, and he is such a warm individual. He really cares about everybody. I'm convinced he knows everybody's name, everybody's spouse, and in many cases, children. The Destined event, I was at that as well with my wife, and children are allowed. It's encouraged for them to
Hmm.
come. And it's really a family event. Not all conferences are like that, but the Destin one specifically is very family oriented. However, other conferences, people sometimes do bring their children. And I've seen babies to people who are children in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, but all the way through the teens. And it's a very different type of coaching environment. And I find it refreshing and it's fun. And I don't even think about it anymore because I've known Howard and his family for so long. His immediate family and the extended family, which are you guys.
Hmm. Yeah, it again, it was wonderful. And my son and I are planning on attending the October one. I'm thrilled to meet to hear Michael Gerber speak. I literally just ordered his book today, The E-Myth Contractor for Landscapers. It's kind of like a child on Christmas morning. I'm anxious to see wait for it to come in the mail so I can start delving into it. So, and we're like I said, we're very thankful for the everything that we have with Phenomenal and the weekly pods that we're able to do. Again, Christian's our coach. And just again, today I was able to sit in on Howard's pod on uh, developing your people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have good people, we have wonderful people working for us, and we're looking to get more, and we're looking to take, some of them to the next level where I can, become a little more turnkey. I don't want to be totally turnkey, but I want to be pretty close,
Sure.
because I do enjoy working and I enjoy my trade. So, um, can't wait to, I know that conference is going to be a lot about hiring and just really looking forward to that and seeing everyone again there.
I will be there for sure. Great, great speakers. It's always worthwhile. And I'll tell the people who are viewing this who have never been to a phenomenal business coaching event, I would suggest looking into it. And there are boot camps. I'm not sure if that's where Rob started or not, but the boot camp is often where people first get introduced to Howard and his team. And that's a great way to start. But, this is for the small business owner slash self-employed person. Often it's a very, very small business owner who is looking for support they don't even have internally. A lot of them don't have business partners or board of directors or any of that. And they get all of this support plus coaching on top from Phenomenal Business Coaching. And I'm telling you, if you can come to these conferences, you should certainly check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's crazy. The one event, we were literally had our plane tickets, day before. I hesitate to say this, but I'm getting older and it was raining, and we have some large trucks that I drive. And I was getting out of the truck and I literally fell out of the truck onto my shoulder,
Mm.
without any whatever, and got banged up pretty good. And along with that, my son developed what we thought was COVID at the time.
Ah,
He had a very high fever, and fortunately it wasn't. But this was the day before the conference that we were supposed to go to the last time. And then here in May, when the conference was, my son got married. So obviously that was a huge family event, a wonderful event, that we were thrilled about. And now we're able to, get our schedule opened up and get going to some of these conferences. So as I said, I'm really thrilled and looking forward to the content and seeing everyone there and just hearing the speakers at this next event.
yeah, absolutely. That event is in Houston, Texas in October 2023. And that information will be located in the notes of this podcast if people are interested. And they'll be able to meet me and meet you, Rob, right?
Be anxious to meet, yep, anyone down there, and looking to make more friends. I would consider myself a people person. I like to, interact with others and learn about others' businesses, and just, you know, um, especially again, a key thing in the phenomenal products is the faith-based, Christian faith-based, um, ideals that are so rampant, which are so wonderful, that really drew us to things. And it's just awesome to speak with other believers there, who have businesses. And um, it's such a pleasure and such a joy to be able to do that, in a business setting, because I completely give God all the credit for my business. This just it's nothing I've done. It's all him, and I just am thrilled and thankful to him for allowing me to have this business and where it's going.
Yeah. And you've done a fantastic job, or phenomenal job, I should say. And you should be very proud of yourself. And I'm very happy that you and your family get to work together and play together.
Yes, it's a thrill. It's a joy.
Rob, thank you so much for joining me today here on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Jim, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to officially meeting you in Texas.
I do as well, Rob. Thank you so much.
Thanks.